Visit us on the web at nilfisku.com. Nilfisk University is the cleaning equipment industry's most comprehensive web-based training and interactive learning resource. Your degree in success is just a click away at Nilfisk University.
Welcome to Nilfisk University, where excellence is obtained through active learning. Welcome to the Use and Care lesson for the Clark Focus 2 Micro Rider. In this lesson, we'll be covering how to use and care for the machine. This course is not intended to replace the operator's manual that ships with the machine. Please read, understand, and follow all safety, maintenance, and operating instructions in the manual. Doing so will ensure years of safe operation and optimum performance from the machine. After completing this course, the learner shall be able to describe 3 items that need to be checked before operating the machine. Describe the proper way to fill the machine with water and detergent. List the steps necessary to start the scrubbing function. Understand each and every switch on the control panel and what each one does. Be able to change the dilution ratio from one detergent strength to another. Be able to change the scrubbing performance of the machine. Describe the different ways to control the speed of the machine. List 2 items to be checked or inspected before storing the machine for the next user. Describe how to remove floor finish using nothing but pure plain water. And list 3 maintenance items that need to be checked weekly. Before one can start using the machine, it has to be prepared for use. When you walk up to the machine, it should look something like this. The recovery tank should be in the open position, and the onboard charger should be plugged into the wall outlet. The first step is to unplug the battery charger and store the cord in the pocket located behind the charger. Now you can lower the recovery tank to its normal position. When you do this, open the recovery tank lid and verify the tank is completely empty and was rinsed clean. Then check the debris catch cage and make sure it's clean as well. The next step is to inspect the brushes or pads. These should have been rinsed the last time the machine was used, so they should be relatively clean and free from any large debris. Inspect the brushes or pads and determine that there is enough brush or pad life for the scrubbing you are about to complete, and if not, replace the pads or brushes as needed. Also make sure that you have the correct pads or brush type for the scrubbing that needs to be performed. Now we're ready to install the pads or brushes onto the machine. For boost machines, installing the pad is very easy. Simply slide the pad under the fixed pad driver, line it up with the pad driver, and lift it up and press it onto the harpoon face to hold it in place. To remove it later, simply push downward on the pad until it's free. Disc machines feature a fully gimbaled brush system that simply snaps onto the gimbal on the machine. First, remove the brush skirts by unlatching the latch on the front of the skirt and slide each section out to expose the deck. The hole in the brush mates up with the gimbal on the machine. Slide the brush onto the machine and lift it up to the gimbal. If you rotate it slightly, you'll feel the pegs of the gimbal drop into the slots of the brush. Now push upward and push the brush onto the gimbal to lock it in place. Sometimes it can be helpful to place your thumbs on top of the deck and squeeze it onto the gimbal. To remove the brush, simply push it downward towards the floor and it will detach. Do not drop the deck on the pad drivers and use the brush motors to put on the pad drivers. This can damage the pad drivers and they will require replacement. Now we're ready to inspect the rear squeegee blades to make sure they are ready for use and aren't torn or nicked. The machine features a 4-sided squeegee blade that has 4 working edges, so the blade can be flipped end for end or flipped top to bottom to expose a fresh working edge, all without the use of tools. If all 4 edges are damaged, a new squeegee blade will be needed. Attach the squeegee to the machine with the 2 thumb nuts and attach the squeegee hose. Do not over-tighten the squeegee. It's designed to break away if it hits an object within the building to prevent damage to the building or to the machine. Now we are ready to fill the machine with water. Open the solution fill port and fill the machine with clean water. Hot or warm water will clean better, but the water temperature should not exceed 130 degrees Fahrenheit. If the machine is equipped with the onboard chemical mixing system, fill the machine with pure water only. If an outboard detergent dilution system is used like a wall mount station, fill the machine from this device. If bulk detergent is to be mixed in the tank, fill the machine 1/3 the way up with water, then add detergent, and then fill the machine the rest of the way. In all cases, fill the machine so the solution level is 2 to 3 inches below the fill port. The machine has a 21-gallon capacity. On machines with chemical mixing, fill the machine with clean water And then inspect the detergent bottle and verify the correct detergent is in the bottle and there's enough detergent to complete the scrubbing task at hand. At this point, the machine is prepared for use. But before we start using the machine, let's familiarize ourselves with the control panel. The main scrubbing functions are on the left. The one-touch scrub button starts and stops the scrubbing function. The extra pressure switch applies more down pressure for heavy cleaning. The vacuum on-off switch turns the vacuum both on and off. The solution control switches increase and decrease the solution flow rate. If the machine is equipped with a Clark chemical mixing system, this button is used to turn the system on and off and change the dilution ratio. The center portion of the control panel displays the status of the machine. First is the battery gauge. Next we see the traction control indicator. And last is the main display, which indicates the hours the machine has been used, the level of the solution tank, and any error codes that may have occurred. The right-hand side of the panel controls the power, transport, and vacuum power level. The main key switch turns the machine on and off. The reverse switch puts the machine into either forward or reverse direction. The quiet mode switch lowers the sound of the vacuum motor, making the machine quieter. The horn switch controls the audible horn. And lastly, the rabbit turtle switch controls the maximum speed available while scrubbing. At this point, the machine is ready to be used. The first thing we need to do is transport the machine to the area to be cleaned. The machine features a safety switch, so you'll have to be on the machine first. Then turn on the key switch to power up the machine. When the key is turned on, the number of hours the machine has been used will show on the dashboard display. In use, the display shows the level of the solution tank as a percent. It shows full when the tank is 90% to 100% full. It will show the word low when the tank is less than 30% full. When the tank is almost empty, low will begin to flash in the display. Verify there is enough battery power to complete the scrubbing you are about to do by checking the battery gauge. Now we can transport the machine to the area to be cleaned. The machine features a unidirectional foot pedal. When the key is turned, pressing the foot pedal forward will propel the machine forward. The speed of the machine in transport mode is controlled by the foot pedal. The farther the pedal is pressed, the faster the machine will go, just like in a car. To go in reverse, press the reverse switch on the dash. The backup alarm will begin to sound. The speed in reverse is controlled just like it is going forward. The further you press the pedal, the faster the machine will move in reverse. Now that we've transported the machine to the area to be cleaned, it's time to start actually cleaning. The machine features one-touch scrubbing. Pressing a single button both starts and stops the scrubbing function. The best practice when scrubbing a floor is to press the one-touch scrub button while the machine is in motion slightly. This will help prevent any damage to the floor. To start scrubbing, press the one-touch scrub button. The deck will lower to the floor, the brushes will begin to spin, and water will begin to flow. And also the vacuum will turn on. The best practice when scrubbing a floor is to scrub the outside edges of the location first, going counterclockwise. This uses the right-hand side of the deck to edge clean. Once that is completed, the rest of the floor can be cleaned. When scrubbing, the machine speed is controlled in two different ways. First is by the foot pedal we already talked about. The second is via the rabbit turtle control on the dashboard. This sets the maximum scrub speed of the machine. There are 5 maximum scrub speed settings. When no LED is lit, the machine will scrub at the slowest speeds possible. Pressing the rabbit button will increase the maximum scrub speed, and pressing the turtle button will decrease the maximum scrub speed. To pause scrubbing, simply remove your foot from the foot pedal. Forward motion will stop, the brushes will stop, and the water will stop flowing. The vacuum will remain on to prevent dirty water from dripping back onto your just clean floor. To stop scrubbing, press the one-touch scrub button. Doing this will cause the deck to raise up from the floor, the water will stop, and the vacuum will stop after a 10-second delay to prevent dirty water from dripping back to the floor. The best practice when stopping scrubbing is to keep the vacuum on as long as possible, and this keeps the floor clean. The pad, which is soaked with dirty water, will continue to drip water for a very long time. In this case, after the one-touch scrub button is pressed, press the vacuum on-off button. This will keep the squeegee down and the vacuum on. Some will even keep the vacuum on all the way back to the janitor's closet to keep that dirty water off the just clean floor. Well, that covers the basics on how to use the machine. Now let's look at some of the more advanced scrubbing functions and how to use them. First is the extra pressure feature. Pressing the extra pressure switch will engage extra scrub pressure for floors that are really dirty. Use extra pressure only when you have to. Extra pressure will reduce the runtime of the machine, is harder on the floor, and will wear out the brushes or pads faster. Next is the solution control switches. These are used to increase or decrease the solution flow rate. When encountering heavily soiled floors, more water may be needed. The best practice is to use the least amount of water possible. This will increase the amount of square footage that can be cleaned on a single tank of water and thereby lowering your overall cost to clean, with fewer dump and refills. It will also save cost because less detergent will be used to clean the same amount of area. Plus, it lets you do your part to help save the environment. When using less chemicals will be introduced into the environment. Pressing the solution decrease switch will eventually turn solution flow completely off. The last one to look at is the vacuum on-off switch. For extremely dirty floors, double scrubbing may be required. To double scrub, turn off the vacuum motor and scrub the area a few times or go back and forth over the area to get it really clean. If more scrubbing is needed, but there's plenty of water on the floor, turn the water off temporarily. Once the area is cleaned, turn the vacuum back on and pick up all the remaining water from the floor. Now we'll cover the last two more advanced scrubbing features. The first is chemical mixing. If the machine is equipped with the Clark chemical mixing system, the chemical mixing dilution button will be active. Pressing this button will increase detergent strength from green to blue, then to yellow, and finally to red. If the dilution setting is at red, pressing the switch again will turn chemicals off and allow you to clean chemical-free with just plain water. As you can see on the slide, each color corresponds to a different dilution ratio. Select the color that corresponds to the nearest dilution ratio that's suggested by the manufacturer. Turning chemical off allows you to clean chemical-free using just plain water. The last feature is quiet mode. This switch lets one lower the sound of the machine and makes it super quiet for noise-sensitive environments. Note that when in quiet mode, suction power to the rear squeegee is reduced. If you notice the squeegee isn't picking up as it should, say like on a grouted tile floor and using a lot of water, you may have to take the machine out of quiet mode temporarily. After using the machine for a while, three things may occur. The first is that the area to be cleaned is now clean and the machine is ready to be prepared for storage until it's needed again. And we'll cover that procedure shortly. The next is that the solution tank is run empty and the recovery tank has become full, but more area still needs to be cleaned. When the word low flashes in the dashboard, the machine is about to run out of water. When it does, transport the machine to a suitable dump and refill location, empty the recovery tank and the debris catch cage, and refill the machine as we learned about earlier. The last thing that may happen is the batteries have become depleted and the machine needs to be recharged. In this case, the battery gauge LED will be red. The machine features a low voltage cutoff to protect the batteries from damage. What this means is that eventually the scrub system will stop when the machine runs out of battery power. The machine will stop scrubbing at this point, but the transport function will not. This means you will always have enough battery power to transport the machine to the dump and refill and charging area, and you won't become stranded in the facility. Now let's look at how we need to prepare the machine for storage so it's ready to go for the next user. We are now ready to prepare the machine for storage until it's needed again. The first thing to do is to take care of the recovery system. Empty and rinse the dirty water recovery tank, empty and rinse the debris catch cage, and clean off the ball float cage assembly. Leave the recovery tank open to air dry and reduce the formation of odor-causing bacteria. Then remove and rinse the squeegee and inspect it to see if the blades need to be flipped or replaced. If they do, do that now. Next we'll take care of the scrub system. Remove the pads or brushes and rinse them off and inspect them for any large debris. If they need to be replaced, replace them now. If not, set them aside to dry near the machine. The solution system is next. If the machine is equipped with the chemical mixing system and pure water alone is used in the solution tank, nothing needs to be done at this point. If the chemicals are in the tank, it's a good idea to drain the solution tank. Position the machine over a floor drain and open the solution valve to empty the tank. If a floor drain isn't available, use the squeegee hose adapter stored inside the battery compartment to drain the tank. Connect one end of the adapter to the squeegee hose and the other end to the drain valve. Then turn on the vacuum motor and open the valve and vacuum the solution into the recovery tank, and then empty the recovery tank. The last thing to do is to plug the machine in and recharge the batteries for the next time the machine is used. While charging, the recovery tank can be lifted up all the way, or it can rest on the included kickstand. That covers how to use the machine for daily scrubbing. We've learned how to prepare the machine for use, transport it to the area to be cleaned, operate the machine using the control panel. We've learned how to empty and refill it, and how to prepare it for storage. And we've learned some scrubbing tips along the way. Not only is the Focus 2 Microwriter a great daily cleaning machine, but with Boost technology, we can also use the machine to remove floor finish without the use of chemicals. Let's cover that now. Clark's Boost technology not only makes it a great machine for daily cleaning, but it can also be used to remove floor finish without chemicals with fantastic results. We'll just follow a few easy steps. If the machine is equipped with a chemical mixing system, turn chemical off. If chemicals are already mixed in the tank, go ahead and use what's left, and when the tank needs to be refilled, let's just fill it with plain water. Now we can prepare the scrub system. Start by installing a new red pad on the machine. Next, install the optional double-sided Velcro sheet under the red pad. While the double-sided Velcro sheet is not required, most every customer does use it. The purpose of the double-sided Velcro is that it attaches and holds the maroon pad to the red pad. If it's not used, every time the deck is lifted, the maroon pad will stay on the floor and you'll have to get off the machine and remove it, or you'll run over it. Once the double-sided Velcro is in place, we can use it to attach the maroon SPP pad to the machine. The maroon SPP pad, or surface prep pad, coupled with Boost technology is what makes floor finish removal possible. Never attach the maroon SPP pad directly to the fixed pad driver. This will destroy the pad driver in short order and will require replacement. Now we can transport the machine to the area to be used and set up the machine to remove floor finish. Now that we've transported the machine to the area, we are ready to begin and can set up the machine for use. Press the one-touch scrub button to lower the deck. Engage extra pressure. Turn water down to low and set the scrub speed to its lowest setting with no LED lit near the rabbit turtle setting. Now propel the machine forward to start the process. It's difficult to say how much area can be covered before the pad has to be flipped over. This is due to the floor finish, how fast the machine is used, and the desired results. When the pad no longer cuts into the floor finish and the results diminish, flip the pad over and use the other side. The effectiveness of the pad diminishes due to its losing its abrasiveness and due to the loading of floor finish in the pad itself. The pad can be rinsed, but don't expect it to last very long after that. Now I'll take a moment to cover battery maintenance. Batteries are the most expensive wear item on machines, and improper maintenance will lead to premature failure and expensive replacement. There are two primary rules for both wet and maintenance-free AGM batteries. First is that batteries like to be in a charged state and hate to be in a discharged state. Batteries that sit in a discharged or semi-charged state will fail prematurely. Always keep the batteries as charged as possible. That means using the onboard charger to opportunity charge them over breaks, over lunches, etc. It's an old wives' tale that every time the charger is plugged in, it consumes a cycle from the batteries. If 10% of the battery is used and recharged, you can do this 10 times and that would equal a full cycle. The second rule is that the machine absolutely must be charged overnight every night. The smart charger will never damage the batteries from overcharging. If the batteries aren't charged like this, they will never get fully charged and they will always be in a discharged state. Keep the tops of the batteries and the posts clean. Never add distilled water to a battery that needs to be charged unless the plates are exposed. If the plates are exposed, add just enough water to cover the plates and then fully charge the machine, and then add water just to the bottom of the fill tube. Do not overfill the batteries. Once every few months is a good idea to equalize the battery pack. Do this by fully charging the machine, then unplug the charger for a minute or so, and then plug it back in and let it cycle through this. Do this one more time, and the battery pack should be fully equalized. Let's take a look at other maintenance items and when they need to be performed. Here's the page right from the service manual. Every day the battery should be fully charged. The squeegee should be cleaned. The brushes or pads should be cleaned, and the recovery tank should be cleaned, including the debris catch gauge. Weekly, clean the chemical mixing system if so equipped. Also the solution filter, check the squeegee blades, and clean the vacuum motor filter and check the water level in the batteries. Every 6 months and in the first 8 hours of use, check to make sure all the fasteners are tight, check the blade, and check the brake located behind the drive motor. Annually, it's recommended to check or replace the carbon brushes in the brush motor, vacuum motor, and drive motor. On boost machines, inspect and replace isolators as required. By following this maintenance schedule, you'll be assured of years of optimal performance from the machine. Let's review the course outcomes before we proceed on to the quiz. Describe 3 items that should be inspected before operating the machine. Describe how to fill the machine with water and detergent. List the steps necessary to start the scrubbing function. Identify each item on the control panel and describe what it does. Understand how to change to different dilution ratios. Be able to change the scrubbing performance of the machine. Describe how to change the speed of the machine. List 2 items to be inspected and cleaned before storing the machine. Describe how to remove floor finish using nothing but plain water. And list 3 or more maintenance items to be checked weekly. That concludes this learning module.
Visit us on the web at nilfisku.com. Nilfisk University is the cleaning equipment industry's most comprehensive web-based training and interactive learning resource. Your degree in success is just a click away at Nilfisk University.